$500 of prizes on the line. The Road Racing CRS Sim Racing Championship continues at what could be one of the most calamity-filled circuits on the schedule. It's Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the Roval, the 2025 Roval, and it's going to be an absolute treat to watch along. Good to have you joining us this evening on Howie Burrows alongside DLBTV as ever. DLB, you got a copy here. Are you looking forward to this one?
Absolutely. I'm excited, man. This is it. The Charlotte Roval home track for me. It doesn't get much better than this, baby. It's going to be a blast. We got $500 of prize pool on the line. Woo! My Roval, baby. Let's get moving into it.
Charlotte Motor Speedway, usually obviously home of the Coke 600, but I find their Roval very, very charming and fun. Lots of difficult turns in the first sector where you have to navigate up and down the hill and watch the weight shift. This is a trickier version of the track than before. We have the heavy hairpin from 2025. You could see some cars get stuck up on there, and two big chicanes. Good overtaking spots on this track, actually, those chicanes. That first one, very wide. That second one, very flat. Shouldn't break your suspension in half. Hopefully, lets you run over. Drivers are qualifying right now. We're just taking a little peek at their practice runs around the track. This is an agile car, and this is the week, honestly, DLB, I go to every week when they show up on the Mazdas, because I love these things here.
So, the thing with the Charlotte Roval, with the MX-5 cars, it really is the recipe for a disaster. I mean, you can just see how wide this racetrack is. We got high banking, we got sharp turns, we got heavy braking. You got everything you can ask for in a road course. And the thing is that makes it cool, it's not just a road course, it's a Roval. A one term that you hear only at Charlotte. So it's going to be one heck of a show. Years of NASCAR coming here. Obviously, it has been made out to such an iconic track with that. And there's such a history with this track as well. With the World 600, the years with the All-Star race. And now we got CRS coming at you live. Last week, it was a little chaotic, man. Them curbs were eating these drivers up. This week, I would expect something similar. I think it's going to get a little bumpy no matter what. But either way, I'm just excited for anything that's on the table here tonight. There's Peter Saddington. He's ready to get rolling, and he's going to spin that car around in the Bitcoin machine. If you don't know, Peter Saddington, this guy bought a Lamborghini with Bitcoins. He's huge in a crypto. I think he's going into this new crypto called Lambo now. I see him posting about it all the time. But man, it's so much fun working with Peter Saddington here at CRS. Also owns the Bitcoin race team. So we'll see what car number 81 can do here tonight.
Course, this does look like a big Roval full of drafting, but it's not going to be quite the same in these cars. It's a smaller oval in NASCAR, obviously a mile and a half going around, and you don't really get much of a run on drivers before you already have to go in for the harsh opening chicane on the back straight. Here's an onboard lap with Somrit Sanyal. In the background, drivers are doing their qualifying right now and setting their times. We're just looking back at some of the laps that were run during the open warm-up, just to give you a bit more of a sense of this place. Weight shifts strictly over the hill. This time, though, we run right down in the current layout rather than cut across in the version many of you may have driven in iRacing rookies. Easy to cut this turn just a little bit too much, but there is a bump on the inside to try and stop you. Then we're on to the big oval, and it's honestly a little bit smaller than it seems, but the Mazdas make it still look like a super speedway again. You don't get terribly long, though, in order to run around it, because very, very quickly, just as you're getting around, you come into the chicane, break around the 3 or the 4, and try to hop these curbs as much as you can. They are more gentle to you than the ones at Lime Rock. That was just about a landing of them, and then we run around the edge of the oval, and there's one more fun little chicane just to catch you at the very end.
So much fun around here. I feel like if I was racing in this race here today, the biggest thing that would be going through my heads is stay on your toes, because it may not be you that makes the mistake. You could get a big dive bomb behind you, a crash in front of you, somebody doing something silly, or just making a mistake here that could be extremely costly. I think this is a track where you can also push it pretty hard. It kind of benefits you a bit to be aggressive here. Fuel mileage may be an issue come the end, just like last week, so I'm sure we are going to see a couple drivers saving fuel just to try to avoid that final pit stop if they can. Here's Christian Burns and the anime machine back on track. We've seen him mix it up at Lime Rock and put on a heck of a show there, and definitely, you know, he was running top 10, got shot around a little bit, and still came back and got a pretty solid finish come the end. We have 2 minutes remaining in qualifying. Remember, standing starts here in the CRS division, so they're going to be ready to fire off right before you know it.
This is Christian's qualifying lap. First one quite compromised. Many drivers on the field. I think we're going to have about 37 by my count if everybody that entered the session also enters. So good luck trying to keep track of the field same time round as last time. It's incredibly popular to get these cars on this service around here. A lot of free tracks, but a lot of very fun ones as well. Christian hasn't set a legal lap time, so we'll be looking out for him in the 27 to try and make one. See how well he jumps the chicane. So no off track for taking it too much, but you can get a slowdown obviously if you cut it across the middle. Can then cut all this track on the way up, but you do want to be above the line by the time you see that white line across the track. Hug the bottom as much as you can. There's more paint there, more grip for you to go around. And then the final chicane can be where you get an off track that just completely ruins your run, because it's so tempting to cut just how flat this turn is. You want to cut it as much as you can without going half the car over, and try not to run into the wall on the way out. I think Christian does have a lap on the board with that. It's a 1:35.878. That's P15. I'm pretty sure that means almost everyone's done. Zachary Depper also making his way around. Should be able to try and get some qualifying results. Although we're going to have to race through this, as we proved last week. We almost had some issues with that one just coming up at the last minute. Here we go. Let's just try and get through as many as we can while we're here. Thomas Bellman up in P1 ahead of Ferris Krippendorf, Thompson Olsen, Arjun Talwar, and Dylas Dublenkas Bradis ahead of Logan M. Wilson in the 76 car. Zach Williams starts in 7th alongside Luke Mann, Donnie Moffitt and Jake Rodriguez. Brendan Pelosa and Varun Potamazi starts 12th. Keep saying finishes. We've got a long session ahead of us, guys. We've got Carl Wilson, Matthew Bodring, Christian Barnes, Brandon Bryan, Nicolas Constantes, and George Tucker. Not going to take any gambles on trying to name the rest of this field, but we will scroll by them. You can get a good look at everybody's qualifying lap. Starts on this track can be brutal. Drivers will be backed up to the chicane at the back of this field.
It's going to be a blast while you see everyone hitting the grid. That means we are about to go green flag racing from the Charlotte Roval. So, the big thing is, if you're hitting the grid right now, you want to make sure you do a couple things right. You don't want to jump the start and get a penalty. You don't want to get a black flag right off the get-go. And most importantly, lap number 1, make sure you survive. This is a 45-minute race. You can't win it on lap number 1, but you can definitely lose it. Waiting for the green to drop any moment now, and we're going to be set and ready to go from the Charlotte Roval.
Terrifying track to run around, but it's plenty of fun. Drivers getting their grid just finished now in time. Engine's not quite revving, still 1 or 2 more to hit the grid, including a pole sitter, Thomas Bellerman. Last week was a race where one really ran away. We don't have a lot of lap traffic on the road, though. Do you think we'll see a repeat of a runaway, or do you think we'll get a battle to the end?
I think this guy's in a different zone. Qualifying the past 2 days, everyone showed up, ran their practice laps. This guy was a second faster than the field. He has the pace, and here we go, boys. I think it's about time to fire off. Thomas Belgman is going to go for back-to-back wins here in CRS. Let's see if he can get it done. Huge field here tonight. It's going to be a show. And here we go, boys. Waiting to time it out here. waiting on the green, waiting for the drivers to fire off. This is where you can sometimes get a little happy with the throttle, get a little excited with it, and sometimes clip it a little too early, get that penalty, and that's exactly what you don't want to do. But we are green flag racing in CRS at the Charlotte Roval. Send him into turn number 1. Thomas Bellman is going to send it in. He's going to try to get a demanding lead already. But behind him is where I would expect chaos. Are they going to make it through clean on lap number 1, or will it be smoke and fire? They're getting through the turns already side by side. Goes a lot of the field, a lot of pack racing. They're crashing in the back. Huge crash, huge stack up. Car number 6 is involved. More stacking in. Multiple cars wrecked on just the first lap.
We're doing a full course yellow for that one. The admins have called it. We will be getting a safety car and some pace laps and reset the field. We have plenty of time to work out what quite happened here. That's the camera on Noel Dean. She was one of the cars collected, but I have the feeling it started just a little bit further up, and it's going to be a challenge to try and find out. Starts with, yeah, some of those cars further down the road. How are we going to catch this? I think Nicolas Constantinos might be a good place to work this one out to begin with. Tagged there by the CTR car in the green and orange, and everyone else is mostly a passenger. That's George Tucker, the car that just began that one, I think, with that contact.
It's going to be a bumpy race here today. It's going to be an exciting one. Big crash already. A lot of guys stacking in right from the get-go. George Tucker, a lot of damage on car number 17. He is junked. He is destroyed. Definitely looking to be a bumpy start right here. He's trying to get out of the way, but man, it's definitely looking to be a rough one. The yellow flag is out already. Oh man, a lot of hard hits here. A lot of these guys, I'd imagine, are going to be wrecked out and done, and probably going to be a bit of a struggle to get them back refired. But jeez, I mean, not the way you wanted to start the Charlotte Roval. You definitely wanted to start this one off a little cleaner, not so much of a disaster. We've seen the CRS car threading the needle through there, trying to shoot some opportunities, trying to shoot some gaps. But man, Peter Saddington dodging some crashes here on the first lap. That is big. A lot of them are stacking in already. This should be a fairly short yellow, and we'll be back on our way. So, man, I mean, I feel like what you got to do right now, keep your head in the game, avoid the chaos, be there at the end. It sounds super, super, super easy to do, but I can guarantee you it's a lot harder than that. 42 minutes remaining, and we're going to be coming back to get the green flag momentarily.
It's going to be more than a little bit momentarily, I'm going to tell you that. If you don't know anything about how long iRacing takes to pace, you're about to find out some horrible facts today, I'm afraid. This is going to be road cautions are a long one. I've actually never seen iRacing throw a caution on road before. You can do it in your lobbies. It doesn't do it in public. So I can confirm that wasn't thrown by an admin. So somebody actually did turn on full course yellows, and you might have caused an iRacing record there by actually causing the first one that it would throw a yellow for automatically. It's going to be a few laps around here. Hopefully maybe one to green when they come through, but quite a few drivers out. Nicolas Constantinos, George Tucker, Noel Dean, David Wilson and Will Schmidt all taken fatal damage. Zach Davison also in the pit lane as well. Doesn't have a meatball flag, but might just wait for the field to try and pass.
Zach Davison with trouble already, and man, I mean, when we do go back green, I think it's going to be interesting. And as you said, typically, you know, you turn on yellows, you typically don't get full course yellows with this, but, you know, what we're going to have here is probably a bit of destruction, but this is where Thomas Belgeman probably thought he can run away with it. Now he's going to have to be on his toes just a bit more. And it's going to be a bit tricky to make sure that he gets to the end. Well, we should be getting the one to go this time by, we got a pace for one lap, and then we're going to get one to go, and we're going to fire them back off here with 40 minutes remaining and set them green.
I hope so. I hope so. I've never actually seen... Yes, we do have the one to go. There's the pace car lights off. I think we might be doing this single file. iRacing Black Box is telling them what to do, so they'll work out what to do, but typically I've known iRacing road cautions to be single file. Double file is a very NASCAR tradition. Cars may be a little bit too soft and flexible for that, but it does mean we are going to get this race not totally broken up by this, and Thomas Bellman's going to have another restart to try and manage.
And we know that Thomas is, you know, he talked about some real-life racing that he's doing, and just a lot of these guys are getting in here and getting sim laps to become a better driver in real life. But Thomas, like I said, second faster than the field. Like, this is his race to lose. We are already beginning to see this may be his championship to lose. Like, he is the top pick to win, the top pick to go get the championship. But now that we do have yellows in this event, it may get shaken up just enough of where he can potentially try to get the win, but a lot of these guys behind him may have a good shot at potentially getting something done on one of these restarts and trying to get to him, and things are going to get shaken up real quick here. So that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting things to get shaken up. The chat is going crazy. Glad you guys are enjoying CRS here tonight. Good to see Donnie has a lot of fans in here, so good to see that. Jack Freeman has some fans. Someone says, Ferris, lock in. Ferris, you do need to lock in, buddy. And we're going to be coming to get the green this time. Let's see how it's going to shake out in turn number 1. Peter Saddington running in 22nd. He dodged that crash and gained a lot of positions right off the get-go. So with yellow flags being on, the fuel mileage scenario probably went out the window. I would imagine everyone should have enough fuel to get to the end. If not, they're definitely going to have the opportunity to go make a pit stop and potentially go win this baby. Pace car is about to be hitting pit road from Charlotte.
Oh boy, it's double file. That is indeed how we are going to be starting this, just like the race start. Now, we're not doing the restart zone rules from NASCAR. Instead, you can start at any point as the leader once the pace car is in. It's sort of the classic iRacing non-restart zone rules. Thomas Bellerman's going to have another shot at trying to do this again. He may be able to launch into the chicane because that's the pace car in the pit lane. He's in control of the field. Might just wait for the green flag, though, as it comes out now, and away he goes. Lots of drivers going to have to fly through that chicane, but Thomas Bellerman's gotten away a bit well. Tosman Olsen as well. I know it's Argentawa trying to put on some pressure with Jack Williams into this first turn. They call it the Heartburn turn, sponsored by the track sponsor at the time. There's another car around in the back. That's Bryson Duff, I think, but it looks like everybody was able to get past him. Hoping the field can make it out through this tricky section. It's almost like a street circuit in here. We're looking good for the racing.
Absolutely one heck of a show. Look at how close things are here in CRS. We got a battle for the lead up front, but we got a battle for the top 5, single file, and they're going to be going through this super tight turn where you got to do a complete, almost like a complete loop here, and you're going to go on to NASCAR banking, NASCAR turn number 1 and 2. 24 degrees of banking they're on with these Mazda MX-5 cars, and they're going to be blasting into the bus stop coming up. This is a hard break point. Let's see if anyone is going to make a crucial mistake through here. Will everyone make it 3 wide? We had a car on the apron back there. It looks like everyone's going to make it through so far. They're all bombing it in as fast as they can, and hopefully they don't go 3 wide through the bus stop. They're looking a little crazy back here. This is who I'm looking at. Contact. They're definitely, they're rubbing their paint, rubbing their door slamming right in front of Peter Saddington. Don't go 3 wide. They went for it. Almost contact. We got cars running the apron right now. Thomas Bellman is getting away. They're 3 wide behind him. My goodness, they're trying to fend off the field right here, but it's not going to be easy. 35 minutes remaining. They're hopping the curbs. this is where I would feel like, just off of what we had at Lime Rock, if you hop the curbs too deep, you may damage the car and break your car once again. I love these on-board shots from car number 29. He has a good draft here. Hallie, how important is draft here at the Charlotte Roval? We know at Daytona, it's almost necessary. At Lime Rock, it seems like it doesn't really mean much of anything. Here at Charlotte, does the draft mean anything on the high banks?
Somewhere in the middle, you definitely are going to benefit from being with someone, but that really tough chicane, but you know, let's just say it's a whole lot slower than Daytona's. You end up having to stop the car to get around those 90 degrees both ways. So, I'd say that you want to be with someone here, but you're not going to get a huge bump draft, because by the time you get up to him, you'll be braking for the chicane. You're sure not going to get a big slingshot, but it could help Carl Wilson chooses to stay behind. Worth noting for those drivers on the apron, you do get a slow down penalty from iRacing if you run that too much. You're forced to drop back, and by quite a lot. Very punishing. Here's Peter Saddington. He's got a run going off the inside of the chicane. Run it too deep now and you might miss entry. Much as he did, you sort of want to be against that wall for entry. Logan Wilson chasing down Torsten Olsen. And I'm going to say Thomas Bellman's not gone yet. Ferris Krippendorf is on the chase. And last week, Thomas Bellman was challenged until there was damage on a chicane. And at that point, it blocked the whole race. I don't see damage happening again here on the track. There's a lot softer bump over those curbs. And that means he might be under a lot of threat. And oh no, what's happened to Hayes' Toulon's car? That is not how that's meant to look.
Lot of damage right there. He's just going to have to basically forfeit a lot of these positions. I mean, you can hold pretty good pace with damage, but man, I mean, the whole bumper's off of the car. Like, how on earth did this happen? Did he just overshoot the turret? He's trying to make a pass on the outside. Clean here. Spin in front of him. Couple cars are wrecking. Oh boy! Man, did he get damaged trying to avoid it? Appears the bumper is there right now. Nope, here we go. He's gonna get plowed through there. And now he's just gonna try to keep that baby going. And the bumper is now laying in the middle of the track.
That's a lot of drivers that were caught in that. To my count, we may have had Nathan Safarian, Wyatt Roberts, Donnie Moffitt, Luke Mann, Jack Freeman, Alexander Rufus, and Donovan Gabriel Johnson have all been caught by crashes. I think Zachary Depper's just had a bit of a big one as well. Stuff's happening all over the track. We're not going to be able to catch every wreck when you pile this many onto the circuit, but especially when the battles are going to be good, such as with Logan Wilson here or Cole Wilson on Jack Williams. Cars are following each other in these trains, and you want to get good exits in order to chase people around the oval. Here is Logan Wilson, gets to the inside of Torsten Olsen, actually gets the pass done. But I don't think Torsten is done by any means. He likes to trade places with people, and as long as you're on that bumper, I think you do have a run. It is going to be more of a factor than it was at Lime Rock.
So Olsen, we've seen him really race hard for the second position last week. And the thing I really took from that is he would use his head a lot with that. Now we got a stack up here in turn number 2.
And there's a lot going on, but this one was Brandon Bryan in the 0-1 self-spins. Bit of a check up ahead. Is it going to be the rejoin here that's not good, though? I mean, this is a horrible place to crash because it's almost impossible to rejoin. No, the other car just ends up in his own incident. That's a Kreenan van Enenman. And that's my best attempt at pronouncing this. I think he might be taking a shot from the Bitcoin Mazda here, in which case you've got a lot to answer to. Saddington out wide, runs into him.
Looks like they just ran together. It looks like Peter, dove it in early, but it looks like the kart was outside, took such a wide arc that they just went for the same groove at the same time. Look at this, 3 wide racing. Although that 28 is missing a bumper, I'll say he's not losing as much pace as you believe that he would. Is definitely going to keep moving him farther and farther to the back, though. And obviously, he's not backing it down an ounce as he's going to bomb it into the bus stop right there. I mean, he has the 123 over his rear bumper, almost side by side on the exit of the bus stop. And that clock is ticking down slowly. Ferris in the 77 He has all the fans in the YouTube chat. I see you guys. He has all the fans in the YouTube chat right now. It's an exciting time to be a fan of CRS. There's a lot going on. A lot of college teams jumping in. A lot of new drivers jumping in. A lot of fun stuff in the works. Take a look at this battle. The 33 is getting on it. Olsen going for that third position, trying to get around Logan Wilson. He's all over him. He's going to get a good draft off NASCAR turn number 1 and 2 and potentially try to set something up for the bus stop. I don't believe he's close enough, but here we go. This is a perfect angle. He's going to follow right in his tire tracks. Try to get as much draft as he can. Maybe try to outbrake him by about a foot or two and gain a little bit here on the entry. But man, he has momentum. He could have done it, and he's going to do it. What a send through the bus stop. He's going to make it work, and he's going to get the pass done. Unbelievable.
That is a good send, and that's how I like to do it around here. Look for that spot up the inside, try and get that run and work with it. Now, Logan Wilson, I think he knows better than to try and challenge here, and he's going to give him a little bit of a push. We're not going free wide at that final chicane, let me tell you that. Jack Williams, oh, there's contact. Oh, Torsten's not going to be a fan of that. He might even cop a slowdown penalty for being sent across the chicane. Maybe nothing he could do. Let's take a peek.
Seems like he's all over him, all but bump drafting. They may be bump drafting just a little bit going into the hairpin. Side by side. Oh, man, it looks like he turned in at the same time that he is trying to get out braked. Fortunately, although they collided, nobody got wrecked and nobody got damaged. There may be a slowdown. I think there was a slowdown. You could see his brake lights really lighten up going into turn number 1, like he was trying to get back some time that he potentially gained through there. Well, this is a cluster of cars coming up right here. I see a lot going on, man. That 28, he just won't go away, man. He don't care how much damage he has on that car.
Lots of cars multiple wide. We've seen Jack Freeman in the Bills car on the track before. Very, very wide for Hazes Tune-On. He's running all the way through the grass, and you don't want to clip the whole lot. That's going to slow you down right to the back. That car is ill handling with that damage. There might be more wheel damage on the front, which is causing it not to quite work. Up in front, Bellman has run away from Krippendorf very easily, but this battle for third is very much on Williams, Olsen, Wilson, and another Wilson indeed. Do you know if they're related, or do you know if that's just a common surname? Well, they're chasing each other down nonetheless in two separate groups, but they're going to have the ability to join onto each other. Olsen takes a dip to the inside. He wants that place back. He's braver on the brakes, and that's a great pass. Hops the car on the way out. Hopefully that doesn't cut too much for his speed. I think he's going to be good going into turn 1, but Jack Williams is getting a bump from Logan Wilson, and that's going to send him faster around the outside.
Contact! He tried to slide up right in front of him. There wasn't enough room. It does appear they're all gonna make it through. It doesn't appear that they're leaving much on the table. I mean, we're not far into this race. We're about 18 minutes in, and it feels like these drivers are giving it 100% right now. Everyone is pushing it hard. Almost the bumper. I think he just gave him the bumper. These guys are aggressive out here. They're not leaving anything on the table. It appears there may be a little crossover right here. You don't want to block it, but he's going to all but go down to the apron to get that pass done. I want to go back to the yellow flag we had on lap number 1. I believe we had a glitch in the game. Maybe a car didn't get to the start-finish line. Maybe it waved off the green or something crazy. But it does appear we did have a glitch in the server on lap number 1. But here we go. 3 cars under a blanket right here. Everyone's shoving hard right now. How hard do you think they're pushing it right now? 80%? 90%? Some of these guys, you definitely know they're going 100%.
I'm not even sure if it was a glitch. I genuinely think like you can get a full course yellow if you enable them, but like they're just rare. iRacing just doesn't throw them often unless you give it a really good reason to, and that wreck on turn 1 gave it a good reason to. Did reset the field very, very well. Here's Brady's ahead of Moffat and Christian Barnes trying to make it up into the top 10, you do really want to work together with others, I think, around here. I'm seeing more of that impact than I usually see in races around here. I think because usually in a rookie race, you get 12 cars around here, stick around 30 up here, and at least there is less attrition than there was last week, more of them are making it. Then you stick a little bit less attrition, and you end up actually getting a situation where these drivers do sort of want to work with each other to join longer packs. 45 minutes is a long time around here. Diet Coke car here of NATO side by side for a moment with Sanyal. Going to dip back to the inside now. I don't think he's quite making it. Now, you can run over that white line on the track. That is all valid and on the track. Who knows why they even put a blue line there, to be totally honest, because it never counts for anything, and that's going to be a real slow exit. That's going to give the place to NATO. Further up around the road, I think this is going to be the battle of the race between these three forever.
So I want to read the chat here for a moment. We got Ferris is my GOAT. So Ferris has a fan club. Next comment says Ferris fan club. And then we keep going down another one that says Ferris my GOAT. One says Fairbear. And then we keep going. We get more Ferris. Someone says Ferris can bench 500 pounds. Which, he's a strong man if he's benching 500 pounds. We'll see what we got here going on the racetrack.
Tawa took some serious damage. I saw it on the front of that car. I don't know how that's happened. You actually see his live position on the ticket here drop like a rock. Something horrible must have happened to him, probably going into the chicane. Did someone misjudge something badly? Did he end up smacking into another car, or the outside wall? A big jump on one curb, big jump on the other. Oh, it is a check up ahead. I'm afraid that angle's not going to help you in any way to find out what happened, but don't worry, we have the technology to fix that. So the car up ahead, I think, runs into his own calamity, and that's just going to cause a bit of a check up. Yeah, he goes wide, and then he's got nowhere to go. He actually takes more damage there.
That's one way to get your competitors out. It seemed like he's just following in his tire tracks and got the bad end of that deal. I mean, that's road racing for you. That's why I said it at the beginning of the stream. You got to be on your toes. More importantly than sometimes even focusing on your own line or anything else, you just got to be aware of everything going on around you, and you got to be able to react almost immediately. Now, I don't think he had much time to react to that, but you got to be on your toes at all times in case things get a little bit bumpy. There's a 4-car pack up in front of Jake, and Jake is going to hit the outside wall as well. That wall has gotten 2 of them now.
That was the wreck that caused the damage earlier, so we are still replaying just a little bit back in time, but we're back to live pictures now. Cole Wilson, Jack Williams, and Logan Wilson still in the line. Matthew Bodgering and Brendan Pelosa are going to try and do their own chase into that chicane. 1-2. Pelosa keeps it for now. I don't think Bodgering is done. Heartburn turns a great place. Try and get it done, but you have to watch the walls as you run around here. Gets it through, but this track compresses up, and this is why we had the wreck earlier on. Anything bad happens here, you just get pinballed back out onto the track and in the path of some horrible stuff. I mean, crashing there, it's almost impossible to actually rejoin the circuit. Daniel still battling out with NATO, and Peter Saddington is in the rear as a gunner, waiting for a chance to join.
So we are seeing Peter Saddington. It seems like, although he's flying through the field, he's dodging the crashes, he's being smart, he's doing everything he has to do for where he qualified. He didn't start at the front. He has to straight up earn these positions, which is not easy unless you want to put yourself in dangerous positions. Almost 3 wide there for a moment. And we see the most positions gained. I mean, Jack Freeman up 15 positions. Guy is moving through the field. Peter Saddington up 13. They are going to the front. These guys did not get good qualifying laps in and really had to focus on the road in front of them. Avoid the crashes, be smart, make the passes when you can. Right now, we got a hornet nest. Thomas Bellman is continuing to lead. He dominated at Lime Rock, and now he's dominating the Charlotte Roval. 2 back-to-back poles, looking for 2 back-to-back wins. Now, his nightmare scenario is lap traffic. He's hoping none of them makes a mistake directly in front of him, although it's very possible. Look at these guys hopping the curves. Much braver this week than they were last week. It is nuts around here.
It's a fun track to jump the curbs in this car. Let me tell you, it's almost like an addiction every time it comes up. I just want to jump those curbs as hard as you can in every last thing that touches.
So what we are seeing here is a 4-car Hornet nest, and sometimes the car in front of these couple cars would typically be holding them up a little bit, but they're just hard enough a pass and just fast enough where you can't get the pass done. They're going to look to his inside and potentially work together going into the bus stop. This could get a little tricky here, and imagine they're going to do some bump drafting and really try to double team this 33 machine down the back straightaway. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to push each other on by, but he's running them low. He's making sure they get no arc going into the bus stop. Let's see how this works out. 33 is going to bomb it in. They're going to be side by side. Will there be contact? Almost everything's gonna sort its way out, and we do got a pass for position. Olsen, that guy is ready for war. Every race, every lobby, every lap, this guy is putting everything on the line. We spoke about it before. There is a $500 prize pool for the top 5 in points. And that's something that these drivers are racing for. We got a car on pit road. Is it damage, or is he coming in for fuel?
I have no idea what Donnie Moffat's situation is here. We don't know what the fuel is going to be like, of course. So we're going to keep an eye on Donnie to see what happens in this stop. No tires. Probably shouldn't be a very long one. And then we'll see if other drivers end up... No, there are tires going on that. That's usually a mistake, let me tell you that. If you're forced to take a pit stop, tires take so long in this car. You need to leave them unchecked. Left sides only is a new one. Hazers Tunon's coming in as well with a black flag on entry. Although Hazers did have some damage, it's signaling to me that maybe cars aren't making it on fuel.
Something to keep in mind. And, you know, Thomas Bellman, he said last week at Lime Rock he had to save a little bit of fuel just to make sure he got to the end. But imagine if you're running lightning fast lap times like Thomas is. He has nearly a 7-second lead currently. Probably burning the most fuel in the field. Could that come back to bite him come the end? Or is he just going to hope his lead is big enough where if he has to pit, that he can pit and come out with the lead regardless? I mean, I think with this track being much bigger than Lime Rock and so much more throttle time, I would be very shocked if you can make it to the end on fuel. I just don't see it being a possibility. I think everyone's going to have to come in, top up on fuel. Probably a smart idea not to take tires, because you're just going to lose so much time. And we talked about Olsen. He's up to the 3rd position. This guy is a warrior. He's not laying down. He's going to keep pushing every lap. He knows if you're racing for a championship, that one position, that one spot can be the deciding factor. And he's given it everything, every lap. And he is one driver in the field that is doing that. Like, there's nothing on the table he's leaving behind him. Absolutely everything for car number 33. Now, he does have a couple cars behind him, and as I said earlier, he may be holding them up a little bit, but he's willing to fight them for every single position, and right now, he's hanging on to it, and one reason that they are hanging on to his rear bumper is, well, this track is so big, and there's so much throttle time, you get good drafts. Where even if he's a little faster in the corners, they're getting all this draft time right here of where they're basically bump drafting at moments. I mean, the draft is so powerful here with the MX-5 cars that everyone's hopping the curbs. Almost contact! There was contact through the bus stop that time by.
A little bit of a bump I think these cars are meant to take, though. They're so slow that they can take little shocks, little pushes. Sometimes you've got to get by someone by sort of dooring them a bit, and as long as you don't spin them out. Unfortunately, that's just sort of the name of the game in these things. When the power's low, they can take a whole lot more contact. And sometimes you need to bump someone to make him go faster, or to get around, or just to sort of push him out of the way. It does happen in these cars.
So Cole Wilson, I brag on this guy a lot. Just very smart driver. He's very calculated with who he's racing and when he's racing them. He has a little bit of damage on his front bumper. maybe from the last time through, maybe a little bit of contact, but he's definitely very calculated with everything he's doing. He's trying to make sure that he's not putting himself in a bad position. I just seen a smoke cloud through the bus stop. I don't know if we just had trouble through there, but this track can definitely become a war zone real fast before you know it. But a lot of respect throughout the field is one thing that we're seeing. Nathan and the CRS machine, beautiful paint scheme. They're side by side ahead of him going into the bus stop. This may be where the cloud happens at. Let's see what happens through here.
Number 6 gets ahead of the Dr. Pepper car in the 16. The 30 makes it. A little bit of contact on the way out, though, and that is indeed what you saw. I mean, that blew up the engine. That's quite harsh. I gotta say, it's quite harsh that that killed the engine. Does seem like a little bit just like a misread where the outside car sort of dips a bit low for some reason, but you know, it was likely just sort of just trying to run a line through there. Nathan Safarian takes a meatball flag, gonna have to stop, and there's no fast repair in this series, so if you take a load of damage, you are down and out, and some drivers got up to an hour's repair in that first rack. Yeah, just keep waiting, you'll get back in soon.
We got Thomas Belbin still leading from the Charlotte Roval, but the real fight is the 3rd, 4th, and 5th position. I mean, and you also don't, with this being a 5-round series, you don't want to push it too hard for one extra point, one extra position, and end up costing yourself 20 points, 20 positions, because you wanted to overstep it. And this is where I have bragged so much on Cole Wilson is he knows when to push that car, and he may wait till a lap or two ago, and if it's too dangerous, he may just ride this baby out and get the 4th position. I know he's going to do everything, pop it up there and get a top 3, get a podium finish if he can, but he also is going to use his head. He's going to be smart. He's going to do everything he has to do. Good on the lap traffic, moving high and staying out of the way. Something that Race Control has been doing so good with both of these rounds. So just a lot of excitement here in CRS. They're all going to run a little wide right there. Nearly popped the wall. Fortunately, nobody got it that time through. Peter Saddington running in the 13th position. Every time I look on the scoreboard, he's gaining spots. Look at this side by side. Is he gonna do it? I was just bragging on him for being calculated. Well, that aggression level is going up here as we have 13 minutes remaining.
Still, the 1, 2, 3 for P3 points are gonna matter, but you're going to have trouble chasing down this P1. Another good battle going down as Peter Saddington has caught the back of Arbor McCullough NATO. And the Bitcoin MX5 wants to try and get a little bit higher than P13. Running high on the oval side. I think we're going into the start-finish straight here. Nicholas Konstantinos coming in for a pit stop, but that sort of time in the lane suggests to me he's got damage too. And a black flag on entry. Well, I mean, it's very easy to speed going into the Charlotte pits and not know what you're doing. Jury is out on whether drivers will need fuel, given that they did save quite a bit under that caution. We're still sort of touching wood, working it out. Bit of contact coming onto the oval. Cole Wilson is the car on the bottom. Jack Williams up on top. That lower line obviously going to be a little bit faster through the turns. Now we're door banging through once, twice. Will Schmidt in the pit lane as well. I think some of these drivers are going to need to make stops today. Who's going to outbrake? Oh, Olsen goes very, very high. That might help him out, but actually Cole Wilson better on the brakes, forces Olsen onto the bumps. Jack Williams is going to try and take advantage. And where on earth did that car from behind come from? Right in the apron at 38. I think that's a lapped car, just flying by people.
Well, when you get racing a little hard, you reel in a lot of traffic behind you, and as you can see, they are there now.
That's not lapped. Sorry. That is Dylas Brady's. I just can't read numbers. Anyway, you can go ahead. I just needed to get that one right.
He's moving. Somebody that the chat wants to see is Ferris, who's running in the 2nd position. They've been blowing up the chat. We want to see Ferris. Ferris Cam, Ferris POV. Where is Ferris? Well, we got Ferris for you right here. He's running in the 2nd position. Beautiful race. Very quiet day. He's just been getting the job done. He's just been cruising. The Ferris fan base has brought this camera to life here as he's cruising in that second position. It's looking like he's probably going to have second in the bag unless something crazy happens here come the end. But right now, he doesn't see the leader in sight. He's just holding on a second. This fight is back alive for third on back. I believe we got third, fourth, fifth, sixth right there. Throw them all under a blanket and see who wins.
And look at all of those drivers pit stopping. That's a signal that cars are running out of fuel and everyone's going to need to do it. Now, the greatest way to throw this away is to take tyres on your pit stop. They are not going to wear over 45 minutes. So tip from me, do not take those tyres. You'll lose time in the pit lane and you'll lose your lunch on the track. Those that know, 10 minutes to go. We're expected to see everybody in because we are on a fixed setup, so drivers do have the same fuel loads. Here's Torsten Olsen, joined by Jack Williams, joined by Cole Wilson out in front, trying to get a black flag on pit entry. That'll ruin your race. All three have made it through perfectly. Now, who has done the smart move right now of disabling their tyres? Quite a few cars in this pit road. You can just see them flying by on the right-hand side, but this is obviously the clue. It's quite a low fuel race for quite a long distance. Every driver stopping in their box. They can't do fuel and tyres at the same time, so they put fuel in the car and then they potentially lift them up. Oh, Torsten Olsen.
No.
Torsten Olsen's going on the jacks to replace those right sides. Maybe it'll be the same for the left sides, and then you can see one of the drivers that did take fuel, Cole Wilson, is already moving. So that's the difference in time you lose on the track if you take those tyres. He's out of here.
And they're still in the pits. Look at this. The gap, they are just now rolling.
Torsten Olsen might have put on wet tyres according to my data, okay? Let me check this. I almost find it hard to believe. Okay, so that's the treaded tyre there. And was someone else running, let's say Cole running here? Yeah, Torsten Olsen's put on wet tyres.
Now, why would he do that? Would that be intentional?
Mistake. A mistake. He's clicked the wrong option in the pit box, and whatever pace he had has gone from bad to worse, from down to down.
So, what do you believe the tire fall off with that is? I mean, the tires, would they even last for 8 minutes? Like, what's the difference going to be with that? Like, I imagine he'd be far off pace.
I barely know the wet tyre pace difference, but I know you're going to be slower every single lap. You just have less grip, and they're going to heat up a lot higher. Tyre wear's not a factor on these cars, but tyre heat really is. Those things get very hot when they're wet, and that can mean that you just have less grip all over the track. Thomas Bellman still out. Actually, no, Thomas Bellman stopped. Thomas Bellman stopped and didn't even lose the lead last lap. That is pretty much how dominant he has been. Logan Wilson still yet to do so. Do lose about 10 seconds in the pit lane taking tyres from what I'm seeing on the data. It split up the drivers quite a bit. One of the things I feared would possibly happen. Maybe just give them no tyre sets. Next time. Be like, hey, you ain't changing that. That might force them into the right hand. And I mean, it'll fix you from keeping wets on, although I would love to see if Torsten Olsen can hold on to some of these places nonetheless running slower tyres. Let's compare him to the car behind when it comes to like the last lap data, because I'm curious. Okay, that's not helpful because that would have been pit stop time. So let's go for the current lap sectors. Half a second faster on sector 1. This is a driver that hasn't even seen Torsten all race, all right? So we know Torsten's faster on the track where it matters, but half a second on sector 1. Well, I think we can get rid of Nicolas's pit stop time there. I feel like he's there for a while, and we'll see on round on sector 2. It's hard to actually force the pass around it, but Luke Mann, I think, is going to be faster everywhere it counts. Where is sector 2? Where does it end? It goes on forever. Forever and ever and ever. Luke Mann, he's doing a little bit faster, and now he's going to be ready to make the move. And he's just going to have more grip when he chooses to do so. It's that's a rough situation to be in, let me tell you that.
So 6 minutes remaining. We have seen Ferris hit pit road, who was running the second position. He has cycled around to 4th. I'd imagine either a couple cars in front of him has either not pitted yet, or Ferris may have took tires. I'm not too sure what the last stop was for Ferris. but I would imagine he's probably going to gain a couple of these positions back as things continue to cycle around. So these drivers are probably going to stretch it as long as they can on fuel and run that baby dry if they can. 5 minutes remaining. Car number 77. I mean, he looks like he's laying down some hot laps right now. Running every mark perfect, just pushing the car heavy. He knows that he's shooting for a podium finish. He's running fourth and going for more. Thomas Bellman is leading this baby. He's led every lap so far. He's definitely has his eyes open for lap traffic and just trying to make sure that he survives here. We'll take a look at this battle because things are about to get shaken up here. 33 is falling off a cliff. Olsen just got the bumper right there. They may try to double team him here going into the bus stop. Let's see if we see some bump drafting from the 2 cars behind. No, they want to race it out for themselves. I think they're going to have some big momentum. I mean, you see how far the pace is off for that 33 of Olsen, but he's just putting it all on the line. This guy is a warrior. Here we go. Are we going to see 3 wide into the bus stop? Man, Olsen's making him learn it. Big mistake on pit road. He's paying the price for it, but he's making everyone else behind him pay an even bigger price here. 3 wide, contact. He went to the apron, just shot him off the racetrack. He said, get out of my way. More contact, more paint rubbing. This may not be over yet. They're leaning on one another. This may end ugly. Let's see who sends it in deeper. Olsen gets in to his door, and everything's going to even out for now. 4 minutes remaining.
We've gotten away with it. We've certainly gotten away with it. Now, driver that's jumped others in this pit lane situation, Dilus Dubins Aspradus is an interesting situation where both him and Varun Pofromsetti, both of them stopped on lap 3, which would have been under caution. They did a short stop under caution. That might have helped them fill the tanks and jump Paris Krippendorf. We'll be watching the timers here because Ferris can't catch. Ferris just needs to run his race. He's been chased down by Baron Pofromsetti on the same strategy. I don't know whether stopping on lap 3 actually gives you this jump because obviously the whole field's going slower under the yellow. We'll see whether these drivers have to stop because this could have been a strategy play to gain him a position of all strategy plays. Baron's been just dropped back a lot, by the way. He all of a sudden just lost that entire gap. So I think Ferris is safe for now. He should be claiming a podium unless something horrible happens. His fans at home ought to know that all he needs to do is lock in and finish the next few laps in order for things to go well. Meanwhile, though, there's good battles on the track. Luke Mann still trying to get past Torsten Olsson. The wet tyre legend might be losing another place. I'm sure he knows what's happened here. But there's nothing really you can do to fix it other than just try and fight it out. Oh, that's a wreck, Donny Moffat.
We got trouble on the racetrack. Let's see what happened. Donny, I know he had a lot of fans watching here tonight. Did he just hop the curb? Oh, they spun in front of him. No! Worst case scenario just happened to Donny. He's going to try to keep that baby moving, but that car is junked. Tried to avoid the
Cole
wreck.
Wilson took it worse. He hooked the curb too hard. He's also taken lethal damage. Takes him out of the race, promotes a few drivers around him.
Such a good run for both of them that they were on. It's a shame. 2 minutes remaining. These guys are still leaning on one another. I think somebody may get punted here before the end. I think we're going to see another one get punted. So Olsen is obviously, every driver in the field sees blood in the water when they see car number 33 right now. And they're just trying to take advantage of that. They know that he's hurt. They know that they can get an extra position out of him. But he's willing to fight him for the death for every position. Right now, them guys that played that strategy, that did the strategy call, that was brilliant. I mean, if they got an extra lap of fuel under that yellow flag, if that's enough to get them to the end, which I'm sure they're saving, might have jumped them up quite a bit of positions there. I mean, it won't be a win for any of them, but what a race this one has been. Minute 20 seconds remaining on the board. We are on board with Ferris there for a moment, and here we go. Back into the hairpin. Let's see if everyone's going to make it through here this time. Nobody's laying down. They're still hopping them turns. every opportunity they get. Here's the Diet Coke machine going head-to-head with Peter Saddington, but not without contact. Saddington trying to keep his head in the game. He's running in the 15th position currently. He dropped a few positions there. Maybe he took tires or played a different strategy. 40 seconds remaining on the board from Charlotte.
I think we'll see the white flag when Thomas Bellman crosses the line. If I understand iRacing's rules well, we should see Barney the flagman holding that white flag for him, giving him one more lap, and it really has been another faultless day on the track. There's the white flag for Thomas Bellman, and I mean, there's really been no day like it. Well, no, there has been a day like it last week. I think he wants his share of those $500 of prizes at the end of the season, because he's one of those drivers that we barely end up seeing now. Dallas Bradley is, I try my best. It's 1 a.m. and that's always going to be my excuse every single week. Pulled off a strategy play to get here, jumped a lot of drivers and came in from nowhere. I thought he was a lapped car when he jumped into a free car battle. That was actually my bad. No, he was just flying. He's been throwing himself at people under braking. Another driver that's not seen too much of, except for when the fans at home have adored him, is Ferris Krippendorf. You know, you got to have big fans at home to cheer you on. And he's had a safe race, a straightforward race, not too many battles, but that's arguably what you want to have. But all eyes are on our winner for our second week running.
Thomas Bellman dominated Lime Rock, sat on the pole, led every lap, came to the Charlotte Roval with the same idea in mind, the same strategy. Not much has changed. As he's coming off the final corners, he sees lap traffic in front of him. All he has to do is make it back around, and here we come for the second week in a row in CRS. Thomas Bellman wins at the Charlotte Roval. Back-to-back victories, championship contention. He knows that his ticket has been more than punched after week 2.
Dallas Bradis makes it through in P3, and Ferris Krippendorf make it through cleanly in P3. It's been good battling up and down the field. A lot of surprises we haven't expected. That sounds like Charlotte to me. And there's nothing quite like this track. I adore it in these cars. We need to race more. More series need to race more here. NASCAR's just dropped it, which I think was a shame. We could have done 3 dates at this track with one at the Roval. More things need to come to this track, though. MX5 needs to come here and do it more. It's an absolute thrill ride.
As I said, it's a home track for me. Charlotte has a special place in my heart. So, I mean, hey, we got some good action here today, a good show, and we're going to have some interviews coming up here in just a moment. So, for all the Ferris fans out there, stay tuned for that.
We're just going to have a quick little hop, skip, and a jump over to our other server so we can try and get some of our interviews in and ready. And DLB, I'll leave this with you.
Thomas, my friend, 2 weeks in a row, victorious. You just won at the Charlotte Roval. I don't think your strategy was any different than last week. Just walk me through the day.
Yeah, I mean, really solid day today. Charlotte's always been one of my favorite tracks that I enjoy driving at. But I saw that we had to do a little bit of a pit stop this time, kind of reduce the fuel tank compared to last time. So had to do a bit of fuel saving. The safety car actually really helped because it helped us kind of save up a little bit of fuel there. But just took it easy, made sure we were consistent, correct on the curbs to avoid taking any damage or hitting the walls, and we executed and hit our marks, and we got the win today.
I think the fans out there want to know, how are you so fast, man? I mean, we seen qualifying that, all yesterday. You were nearly 9/10 to a second faster than the field. You show up today, you put it on pole, you lead every lap, you dominate the event. How many years have went into developing this craft to get this fast on iRacing?
I mean, I'll be honest, I've been sim racing since I was 14. That's the first day I got my Logitech G29 I still use at the moment. And, I started on Gran Turismo, played there, and then it really started off when I started playing on ACC back in the day on console and, practiced a lot every day, watched a lot of videos about racing and the etiquette and how to drive a car properly through like all the physics. And it was a lot of consistency over the years and practicing, and then I switched to iRacing and kind of just naturally flowed and kicked in also with the IRL racing. But it took a lot of practice to get here, but it all paid off in the end.
So obviously, championship is probably on your mind by now. I mean, I would think you were by far the top pick, the top contender. A $500 prize pool for the top finishers in points. I mean, are you thinking about the championship right now with 3 rounds remaining?
I mean, yeah, definitely. That's always, what's on my mind at the moment. We'll have to see though for next week, unfortunately, because I'm gonna be out at Sonoma Raceway for race weekend. It's gonna be cutting it close to make it for the race on Sunday, but we'll see if we can try to make it. But if we can, we'll obviously hunt for that championship. And if not, then I'm just really glad to be here competing in this series for Virginia Tech.
Congratulations on your win. And man, dominating day is a big one.
All right, thank you guys.
So we're now going to hear from our runner-up finisher. How you doing, buddy?
That's right. Hello. I'm doing good.
So you played some strategy there. I don't believe you pitted like everyone else did come the end, and you pitted under yellow, correct? Or what? Walk us through your strategy that you played out here today.
Yeah, so essentially quali didn't go the way I expected. I was expecting P2, qualified P5. Then had a rough start, dropped down to I think P8 or P7, and then of course the safety car came out. So I just thought I might as well just pit and see if that might help. And yeah, it worked out in the end. Got P2, which is pretty great.
Absolutely. It was a heck of a show. I mean, you outsmarted the field here today. Did you know that after you pitted that you were going to be able to make it to the end, or was it still pretty close?
Yeah, I knew it. Based on last race, like essentially already on the last race, I pretty much didn't have to fuel save to get to the end. I mean, maybe just a couple of laps and a couple of corners of fuel saving. So I knew if I pitted, that's, some extra time saved and fuel saved, as well as the safety car. So I didn't have to worry about fuel saving at all.
Congratulations on your runner-up finish. I'm sure that's going to help a lot here in the points.
Yep, thank you.
CRS! Podium finish. You got the biggest fan base on iRacing. Like 100%. They have been calling your name all stream, wanting to see your onboards. They've been excited for the interview. I'm going to ask about your day first, and we'll get into that. Walk me through your day here from the Charlotte Roval.
Yeah, it was good. Shaking off a whole lot of rust since I've been off the sim for a bit, and we've been busy at Clemson with some IRL racing. But going into this race, just looking for a clean, tidy race, most of it, and walked away with it. And any opportunity that I can walk away with a podium with no incidents is I call it a successful day. So just from the get-go, it was just a matter of just keeping it tidy and keeping up pace. Whoever finished P2, they pulled a pretty smart strategy. Didn't really expect that. So we'll have to note that for later. But overall, I think a pretty good showing. I was happy with it.
You were fast all day. Now I gotta ask about. You got some fandom going on. Before this interview, someone in the chat said, we want to hear from our supreme leader. So, do you just got a lot of friends out there in college, or you just got a massive fan base, or you just clouded up?
No, I mean, the Clemson Tiger Racing team, we got a good community over here, a very supportive group through anything we do, any of our members. We just had a member actually this weekend out at Rhode Island, Mateo Naranjo, running in the FE2s. And so we're always out there supporting each other and always super excited to cheer on each other whenever we get the chance. So I'm happy to have that kind of support and love to give that support to the others as we do our events.
Congratulations on a podium finish from the Charlotte Roval.
Thank you.
So next we got here in the booth, Peter Saddington, a Bitcoin Lambo himself.
What's up, guys?
Peter, walk me through your day. I know you got to the end. You had to make a pit stop there. You were running as high as like 12th or 13th at one point, rebounded. Got a pretty solid finish. Definitely a lot better than Lime Rock.
Oh, I'm so happy that we survived. That's the game when it comes to the amount of skill that we have from some of the semi-pros here to all of the college students that are joining and representing their universities and schools. We have the entire spectrum of experience, and I'm just so happy to be in the mid-pack fighting with everybody and surviving. There was one time where the guys crashed in front of me and there was just so much smoke. The thoughts was like, I'm Kimi Räikkönen as I'm driving through this sucker, and I survived. I just big balls went through it, and we're in the top 20. So I felt really good about it. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I love seeing the growth of what we're doing online as well as obviously in the real world. Go CRS. Go CRS. It's going to be a great year. Thanks, Dustin. Thanks, Howie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Peter, for allowing this event. And man, what a show. Howie, what'd you think about today's race?
I mean, I always love the Charlotte Roval. The only thing I love more than the Charlotte Roval is having an exciting race at the Charlotte Roval. So we got both of those in tow. Excellent form. And we have another week on the way that's just as exciting. I'll be taking a step back from the booth from Virginia International Race Bay, but to all of my knowledge, I think you'll have one of my colleagues that is just as experienced and wonderful, and he'll be able to catch the carnage. Up to 40 cars around that track. Lots of runoff that time, not many walls, and a big draft straight, but watch out for turns like the roller coaster. That's going to tear you apart.
What a show this one was. Well, with that said, we're going to close this one out. Tune in next week. You know where to find us. CRS on YouTube. Have a safe week, everyone. We'll be on Discord. Let's get ready for the next one.